Hey there everyone, Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch, and I'm here with one of the projects I was most excited about making, which is a top beat-em-ups on the Nintendo Switch that you can play in cooperative mode with a friend. Thank you to our executive producers for continuing to support us. We start with Castle Crashers, which is an absolute blast on the Nintendo Switch, offering fun beat-em-up action that you can play with a friend. Its colourful visuals, hilarious humour, and that engaging cooperative multiplayer makes this an absolute must-buy for those of you that want to sit on the couch, have a couple of drinks or beers, whatever it is, and play this with a friend. I absolutely love this one. You can team up with your friend, battle through waves of enemies, leveling up your characters and unlocking new abilities along the way, making for a very addictive and entertaining experience. Now here you get to double up with a friend in Double Dragon in this classic arcade-style beat-em-up. The excitement on the Nintendo Switch is because it features intense combat, challenging levels, and a nostalgic trip for fans of the original Double Dragon series, which I very much am. With its straightforward yet addictive gameplay, this title provides absolutely hours and hours of fun as players punch and kick their way through hordes of enemies to save the day. Fight and Rage is another standout beat-em-up that you can play multiplayer, offering tight controls, retro-inspired pixel art, different endings. You can play 1v1, you can double up with a mate if you want to, and it has a diverse roster of characters, each with their own unique fighting styles. I absolutely love this one with its blend of old school aesthetics and modern gameplay mechanics. Fight and Rage certainly delivers an enjoyable experience for fans of this genre. Honestly, this is one of my favorite lists to make. There's honestly nothing better than getting a friend round and just absolutely having a blast with these games on this list, which reminds me, let me know at the end which is your favorite down below, and if you haven't played some of these, there's certainly some great recommendations, which brings us on to Wulverblade, which is an absolutely challenging game. Recommend playing this one with a friend, of course. It captivates players with its stunning hand-drawn visuals, but it is very difficult. Its historical setting is great, and its challenging combat mechanics. I found this one tough, but a fantastic game anyway. Set in ancient Britannia, this beat-em-up offers a unique blend of historical fiction and action-packed gameplay, making it an absolute must for all of you fans of these types of beat-em-up. You'll see that most of them here are games that you're going to be able to play with your friends and family. This one, I would say, if you like a challenge, this one is definitely for you. That brings me on to one of my favorite games. If you have to ask me which is my favorite on this list, well, this is one of them. I'll leave the best one for me until the end, but this is certainly top two, and that's Streets of Rage 4, which revives the beloved beat-em-up franchise on the Nintendo Switch. I was waiting for this one for ages and was hoping it was going to be great, and it certainly delivered with its updated visuals and that killer soundtrack. Absolutely beautiful, addictive gameplay that pays homage to the series' roots while introducing new elements to keep things fresh. It's seamless co-op play and intense action, certainly one to play in the home where you can play 4 of you locally, and you can play online as well. 17 iconic characters here to play with as well. Absolutely exhilarating from start to finish. I still load this one up today, even though I've finished it multiple times. Now, Cowabunga Collection. It's a nostalgia-packed treat for you guys out there, bringing together classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat-em-up games in one package. Of course, absolutely iconic characters, and it's got that cooperative multiplayer with challenging levels. This collection offers absolutely hours and hours of fun. Cannot recommend it enough. Now, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, another wonderful game that charms players with its stylish pixel art, catchy soundtrack, and that addictive gameplay. Yes, all of these games are addictive, especially when playing with a friend. Inspired by classic beat-em-ups with its cooperative multiplayer and nods to the beloved comic series, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World delivers a very fun and a very memorable experience for players of all ages. This is certainly one that you can play with your kids if you want to. I made this list essentially, yes, it's beat 'em ups, but I wanted to make sure that all of these games you can play with a friend. And the Ninja Saviors is no different, impresses on the Switch with its tight controls, challenging levels. That cooperative multiplayer offers a satisfying beat-em-up experience, which is reminiscent of the arcade classics that I'm sure most of you, including myself, absolutely love. Diverse character roster and intense action, the Ninja Saviors provides plenty of thrills for you fans out there. Now, the TakeOver, not my favorite game on the list, but I definitely wanted to add it because it's a fast-paced beat-em-up and the animations are pretty fluid if this is your style. Variety of moves and combos here to master with its retro-inspired visuals. Again, most of these are retro-inspired in some way. This title delivers a satisfying and enjoyable experience for players looking for those beat-em-up thrills. I have to say the soundtrack on this is fantastic as well. This is very cheap at the moment. Upon putting this list together, it's currently got 80% off, so one well worth picking up if you're looking for a bargain. Now, Young Souls captivates players on the Switch with its engaging narrative. I think the visuals here are absolutely great as well, and it does have a good combat system that blends elements of beat-em-ups and RPGs. It has cooperative multiplayer, and that emotional storytelling in it makes it a little bit different to the rest. Young Souls offers a unique and immersive experience for players seeking something beyond traditional beat-em-ups. So if you want something a little bit different with that RPG element introduced, then I certainly recommend Young Souls to you, ladies and gentlemen out there. Come on now, River City Girls is going to be one of you, ladies and gentlemen's favourite on this list, surely. Well, here we have River City Girls 1 and 2. We'll start with River City Girls 1, where you can play 1 or 2 players. This time, the boys are in over their heads. Yes, they've been kidnapped and you need to save them. They've been captured, leaving it to their hard-hitting girlfriends, Kayoko and Misako, to serve up some payback. Now, you gain new skills and you chow down on power-ups. There's an assortment of weapons too in this 16-bit style. It's absolutely awesome. I love every minute of it. And I have to say, the soundtrack really wins you over here. You just can't stop playing and listening to that wonderful soundtrack. Glorious pixel art, visuals, and a great soundtrack, and 6 large city regions to fight through, which brings us on to River City Girls 2. Here you're joined by newcomers Marianne and Provi, where you hit the streets in this all-new beat-em-up adventure packed with new abilities, enemies and environments, and you can team up for local or online co-op. Fantastic. There's 6 playable characters here in total, each with their own fighting styles. There's enhanced combat with guard crashes, lift-off combos, double team maneuvers, which is absolutely great. Loved that. And it's bigger than the previous one. Both games are at full price. I paid full price for both. You can play solo if you want to as well, of course, but on this particular list, I think most of these games played with a friend, especially this one, 4-player local co-op, is an absolute blast on any system. But of course, we're focusing on the Nintendo Switch. There's NPCs to meet and interact with as well, and you can punch them in the face if you really want to. There's some surprise cameos as well. Now, Streets of Red. This is a lovely little indie that I really enjoyed. It's fast-paced on the Nintendo Switch, again with its retro-inspired visuals. I'll be saying that a lot on this list. Need to find some different words, I think. Customizable characters and challenging gameplay. I finished this one in one evening, actually, on my own. I didn't have any friends that evening to play the game, but I couldn't wait to play it, so I did. You can play multiplayer. There's intense boss battles, and Streets of Red absolutely delivers an adrenaline-fueled experience for players looking for that classic arcade type of game. Phantom Breaker, Battlegrounds Overdrive. I really like this one. I don't know why. This one was one of those games where 4 of us were playing in one sitting, and it was just an absolute blast. So 4 of you can play this one if you want to. There's cute versions of the series characters which dash around in this action-packed title. You can defeat enemies here and raise your character's levels and freely assign skills to your liking. And there's also head-to-head fights in Battlegrounds mode. Yes, a lovely little game, variety of characters to choose from, and of course, Phantom Breaker Battleground Overdrive offers hours of beat 'em up fun for players of all skill levels. So if you haven't tried this one yet, quite cheap at the moment, around £7 in the UK, I think around $10 in the US at this moment in time. Next up, we have Lost a Castle on the Nintendo Switch, which has online and local co-op. Now, the visuals here are nothing to shout about, but I absolutely love this one. It's a little bit different. It brings, a little bit, if you want to be a mage, for example, and fire off some fireballs, you can do that here. So it's slightly different to just kicking the crap out of people. This has challenging levels. Yes, the controls are responsive, which is important, and that cooperative multiplayer is what it's all about. It has a variety of weapons and abilities here, and it's just a very satisfying and immersive game with 150 weapons and around 50 sets of armor here. There's a classic solo campaign if you do want to play on your own. Now be aware, most of these games can be played in solo as well if you want to. I'm just focusing mostly on multiplayer because it's much more fun that way. Now, River City Saga is Three Kingdoms actually, delivers a classic beat 'em up gameplay on the Switch. Now, it has charming pixel art visuals and a really nice retro inspired soundtrack, and of course cooperative multiplayer. Strategic combat here, very humorous storyline. River City Saga Three Kingdoms offers a very nostalgic trip for fans of the River City series. 24 playable characters here in total, so you've got a lot of choice if you want to invest in this one. For those of you that like ultra violent games, then Mother Russia Bleeds, it says it all in the title, is an ultra violent co-op brawler which overflows with an unmistakable style and unforgettable brutal action for up to 4 players at once. You can battle solo or alongside friends in an exceptional story mode campaign, or you can even harden it if you want to in the savage survival mode. Brilliant game if you haven't played this one yet, and still around £13.49, $15 in the US. Super Punch Patrol, one that Jordan actually reviewed. I'll put a link up above so you can check this one out. Has a very distinctive visual style, but it is a fast-paced beat-em-up action. It's got colourful visuals. I don't know if I could say colourful, because it's like sort of blue, reds and white really. Has a catchy soundtrack. You can play in co-op. It's accessible, but the levels are challenging. It offers a fun and enjoyable experience, I would say, for players of all ages. You can play up to 2 players here, and that's how I would recommend it. But again, you can play this solo if you want to. Tonight, We Riot. Again, one of those games where the visuals are nothing to shout about, but it's unique on the Nintendo Switch with its political themes. You've got co-op on here again, a variety of weapons and abilities to use against enemies. You have to liberate the world. And I love these little games where the character sprites are so small. It really does offer something different to the rest of the games that are on this list. It has an engaging storyline and chaotic action. Tonight We Riot provides a really fresh and thought-provoking take on the genre, so one that I do very much recommend. Not that expensive either right now. Now, I think 99 Vidas is a surprising little game. When I played it, I didn't expect too much, but there are 11 playable characters, and the 4-player co-op, both local and online, surprised me that you could play online, but yes, very good. There's story, arcade, and remix, plus versus and survival mode, so loads of modes for those of you that want to change it up. The boss fights are great, there's multiple endings, and of course, upgradable skills, combos, and special attacks. Now, each of the characters has unique attributes, speed or strength, as well as elemental alignment, which, the usual fire, water, wind, lightning, where you can modify the regular attacks, combos, or special moves. Really like this one, very much recommend it as well. Coffee Crisis up next, a little bit different, get to fight some aliens here. And here it's very quirky, I would say. It's humorous storyline as well, pixel art visuals, not for everybody, and again, cooperative multiplayer. It's got a unique setting, the gameplay is fast paced and light-hearted and entertaining. I would say that one of these games, if you haven't played, if you've played the rest, then I would say get this one as well. Coming to the end of the video, if you're still here watching, then very much appreciated. 9 Monkeys of Shaolin next, where you play as the Chinese fisherman Wei Cheng, who wants to avenge the death of his friends and family. A good motivation as any, I would say, but very dark. You get to battle in a challenging adventure in medieval China, and you have to get ready for merciless fights with hordes of various enemies. You can play co-op and fight through waves and waves of enemies and complete the game together. There's 25 levels here, which include Chinese villages, a pirate ship, and some Japanese mansions and ancient ruins, as well as a lot more. I really like this one, to be honest. There's extensive character development. Each victory you get to discover unlockable perks, items, and of course fighting style. So, ladies and gentlemen, sorry if I scared you there. What's your favorite game on the list so far? Brings me on to my favorite in this list. I left the best for last. So if you love Streets of Rage 4, well, the same people that made that made the best game on this list for me. Number 1. It's a toss-up between Streets of Rage 4 and this, but I love this a little bit more. This is a little bit more nostalgic for me because I grew up in the 80s watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series as well. So this has a lot of nostalgic value. I have a lot of love for this one, and you can play up to 6 players simultaneously. I completed this one with my 9-year-old daughter, so if you've got kids, this one is pretty kid friendly, I would say. And I also completed it again with 4 members of my family. It's absolutely brilliant. The design takes you back to the 80s. I was born in 1980, so I'm getting on a little bit with those beautiful color pixel art graphics, old school gameplay with its fresh mechanics, and as I say, up to 6 players simultaneously must be an absolute blast, because it was with 4. As I say, there's a new story mode here as well if you want to play that, but this game is just absolutely fantastic. Cannot recommend it enough. If you haven't played it yet, then give this one a go. That brings us to the end of this list. I really hope you've enjoyed this. I really enjoyed making it. There's some great beat 'em up games that you can play solo, but better with friend or friends if you can. Now, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit that subscribe button, and more importantly, that bell notification, so we can notify you of when our next video goes live. We have another video every Monday where Jordan takes you through all of the physical games that are released, and I know a lot of you love collecting your physical games, and that is a really important video that most of you like to tune into. So thanks very much for that. Thanks also to all of our executive producers. It means so much to us, but also a lot of love for our existing subscribers, new watchers, and anybody, if you're still here watching till the end of this video, hopefully not bored of my voice yet. A lot of love for you guys out there. Leave us a comment down below. Let me know your favorite game on this list, and if one of the games I've missed hasn't made the list, it's usually because I haven't played it, so I can't recommend something I haven't played. Anything that makes my list that I make are games that I have played and enjoyed with friends, and that's all of these. But if there is one that I have missed on this that you think other people should know about, then leave a comment down below, and we try and get back to as many comments as we can. So much appreciated. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you again on the next one.